WOWT. First Alert 6 starts now.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to have you here with us for First Alert 6 streaming this morning. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley, of course, joined by Jarrett Lansford and Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord. Rusty, thank you for finally giving us some better temperatures. Have you gotten that yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
That's the first one.
I'm saying thanks.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, it was a rough week last week.
Oh, was it
that
ever?
Cold wears on people, wears on things. Everybody's going to be in a better mood this week.
For sure.
We're melting off a lot. About the only thing you got to worry about is probably mud or trying to get the car clean. Getting the long car wash lines and a little road spray the way it looks. Here's what we have right now. 37 degrees, calm wind, feels like temperature of 37. Yes, it's been melting all night. Those temperatures have stayed above 32. You don't have to worry about any refreeze of what's been melting. That's how it looks out the door. Everybody 32 or warmer on the map right now. 34 in Clarinda, 42 in Maryville, 40 in Plattsmouth. The wind speeds right now out of the west at about 3 to 7 miles per hour if you feel it, but a lot of calm showing up on the map. And that's great to have in the coldest part of the day. So the air temperature, the wind chill, they don't differ from each other all that much. Remember, well, last week, a lot of these were negative 37s, negative 34s, and that's not what we're dealing with today. Winds will be light out of the west, northwest, up to about 15 miles per hour, I think, at worst today. So not a big problem. If you want to get the car washed, there were long lines at a couple of the car washes I drove by yesterday. It's still a go for it. You can get it washed this week. Just remember, the road spray from the melting might still be tough to keep it clean, and it looks like overall things are going to work towards melting off all of the snow this week. And you'll notice a little stripe of showers down to the south. Clouds are moving out. Some showers just exiting our southern counties here south of Rockport. So not a big headache, but the clouds are exiting as we speak. We'll have a few more build in as the day goes along. 41 for the temperature by 9, up to about 56 by noon, and should be able to top out in the lower 60s today, the way things are looking. So some pretty good weather there as we go into the afternoon, right up around 60. Farther southwest you live, you get a little more sunlight and slightly warmer. Small chance of a couple little showers there as we make our way into the evening hours. Probably not a big deal. As you can see, very, very spotty. And then later on tonight, start to cool off, but nothing all that bad, down through the 30s and right around 30 degrees to start off tomorrow. So that right there is a pretty good 3-day forecast. If I would have told you 14 days ago that we would have 60s back in play, you probably would have thought, whatever.
We wouldn't have believed you, especially after last week.
I know, it was rough.
So we love the temperatures. You mentioned a small chance. When's our next really good chance of any kind of precipitation? So
there's a little bit here as we make our way into Tuesday night 2 to watch for. Again, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. So you add this up, models suggesting maybe 1/10 of an inch out of this by the time it moves out Wednesday morning. So if you're looking for a little more moisture, as the snow melts off, things will dry up as the week goes along, 50s and 60s for a high. It's probably the middle of next week we look for. Tuesday could be some rain, maybe even a little thunder with this system as it moves in. And then the backside could bring a little rain changing to snow. The track goes right now, we end up on the warmer side of it, but that's something to watch for next week to see how it goes. But in the meantime, a lot of good weather. We'll dive into the current track of that system here coming up in just a little bit.
That is such a more pleasing 10-day forecast than what we've seen.
It's wild. I mean, it just wears on people after a while. This is going to be so much fun.
And there's a warm up too across the country. It's not just us, by the way. Yeah,
we're sharing it. It's the wealth is shared.
Okay. All right. Rusty, thanks.
You bet.
In the meantime, we'll get an update on traffic with Jarrett. You're taking us to I-80.
Yeah, it's a little slow as you're approaching 144th. We're kind of getting a domino effect that's taking place. Of course, we're still seeing work happening on 144th. So as that happens and as we get traffic trying to exit there at 144th, it's spilling onto the interstate. And as you're heading westbound, you are going to notice the delays that are showing up there, especially as you get into some of those right-hand lanes heading through there. So here's the live view on the DOT camera. You can see plenty of traffic trying to exit at that point. And it's not too bad at this point, but we have been occasionally seeing this to where it continues to back up. And you can see even in the distance there that we have a lot of traffic trying to get through there. So watch for the delays there. That's our biggest current problem that we have. There are some other things that you need to keep in mind though. Starting today, some different areas of construction, including a full road closure on Farnam. This is between 36th and 37th. Now, if you're heading out the door this morning, next hour or so, you should be in good shape. This is scheduled to start at 9 a.m. But once it starts, it's going to be in place for 3 weeks. So you're going to be dealing with that for quite some time as they continue the process of doing work related to the streetcar. You've also got starting today southbound travel on 42nd, where you have some pothole work happening. It's that time of year. You're looking at that impacting southbound travel with one lane as you get a little south of Dodge and down to Dewey. That through the intersection of Farnam, that schedule lasts pretty much all week. By the way, it's a little slow on Dodge there in that area, right around 40th. So some of the things that we are watching here in the early going, we've got plenty more construction that we could talk about. We'll do some more of that in a little bit. But I've had one or two people who are like, why aren't you talking about the construction in my area? Well, there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
We have a nice resource on our website. It's our traffic blog where we list all the different areas and the different updates with that. So that's a good resource that you can always check on with the latest for that.
Yeah, he updates it all the time. Trust.
All the time.
Trust.
Crazy.
All right, Jared, thank you. We have new details into our newsroom from overnight. An arrest is made in connection to a weekend shooting that happened near downtown. 33-year-old Detroit Affusia is facing assault and weapons charges. Omaha police were called to 11th and Center for a report of an armed person. Minutes later, investigators received another call that someone had been shot a block away. The victim's injuries are not considered life-threatening. A water rescue in the Missouri River that now appears to be a recovery mission.
Officials are still investigating how exactly this all played out. Battalion Chief Kobe Werner told First Alert 6 that witnesses fishing down the river saw a white car enter the park at a high rate of speed, then go down a boat ramp and then into the water. Werner says the witnesses saw the car float for a little bit and then sink.
Once we find the car, depending on where it's at in the river, the depth, the current, and then the safety factors, we'll utilize, if we're going to utilize our dive team to go down there, hook up to the car and get it out.
Omaha fire crews will be doing their search again this morning when it's safer to do so.
All right, new in the morning, another possible shooting investigation on OPD's hands. The department says officers were called to a local hospital just before 9 last night, where a victim walked in with a gunshot wound. His injuries also not believed to be life-threatening. Details are limited in this case. Of course, we'll let you know as soon as we learn more information. I'm here at the safety desk with our Maria Cage. She's got the latest outbreak from the FDA. Seems like we're going to have a lot more of these.
I know, another Listeria outbreak. It's hitting in the U.S. This time it is linked to frozen supplemental milkshakes, actually.
Oh, okay.
So more than 11 people have died and dozens more are sick because of this outbreak, so it is pretty serious. The FDA says that the shakes were sold under the brand names Cisco Imperial and Lions Ready Care. And they went to different places like hospitals and senior care centers across 21 different states. So the FDA says that these products have all been recalled. If for some reason you do have these or know somebody who does, you want to throw them away immediately. And this has actually been impacting people for quite a while. The CDC says that the outbreak includes cases that date all the way back to 2018.
That's a long
time.
time.
They've been tracking this for a while.
Yeah. All right, we also got more important health news this morning. It's Shingles Awareness Week. So Maria, what should people know about this disease? We don't talk about shingles a lot.
No, and a lot of people actually don't know too much about the disease, what it can do to you. And you might not realize that if you've had chickenpox, that you actually have the virus that carries shingles already inside of your body. And although not everybody who has that will develop shingles, the virus can reactivate at any time. So the risk of getting shingles also increases as you get older. There's a new study that came out from GSK. They found that more than 40% of Americans over 50 years old actually have limited to no understanding of shingles at all. Doctors say the rash is very painful and it can typically form on one side of somebody's body. One expert says it is important, though, for people to have conversations about this with their doctors sooner rather than later.
You know, this is something that can be disruptive, debilitating, and just taking that one step to have that conversation with your doctor and invest in your health is so fruitful.
Now, Dr. Bio also says the shingles rash can cause a burning sensation when it is on your body, and it can last for weeks and in some cases even months in people.
That's all I hear about is how painful and uncomfortable
Definitely
it is.
serious, something that you don't want.
Conversation you have with your doctor. Good news to tell us about. Maria Cade, live from the safety desk as always. Thank you. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back on this Monday morning. Time now 7:13. A nice shot overlooking the Jean Leahy Mall. It's kind of nice also starting to see that snow melting. I think that was kind of the trend this weekend, just slowly to see more grass each and every day. And the trend is this week is probably going to be less snow completely gone because, well, the temperatures are just going to be that warm.
Aside from maybe the piles in the parking lot, that's going to be about it by the time we get done with this week. We have a lot of melting on the way, a lot of warmth on the way. A lot to look forward to this week. Starting today, yesterday made it to 55. Today we're going to go into the 60s. Tomorrow, likely in the 60s as well. We could have a little more nighttime rain actually to talk about Tuesday, and then the rest of the week gets a little cooler with some wind in play. But here's a look at your highs for the week ahead. You get 60s 3 out of the 5 days this week, with 50s for the cold days. Yeah, it's going to be great. 30s and 40s out there right now. Light winds, so you don't have to worry about that all that much. Much easier getting going today. And, well, parents, kids, 5 days of school this week. There's no cold days. There's no snow days this week. You can see a northwest wind for most of the day. May try to gust to 15 miles per hour. Not that bad at all. We'll get up to 60, 61 for the high. Cool off a little bit this evening, but again, most of the night will still be warm enough to keep a slow melt going, and we may get down near freezing to start off the day tomorrow. There's been a couple of little showers this morning. They formed south of the metro and then have been dropping south, and not really a huge problem. The clouds are dropping that way as well. We'll get into the 40s here for a high for by 9 o'clock. By noon, we're up into the 50s. And then a high today that should be able to make it into the lower 60s, about 61 to 62. Notice how it's warmer southeast, a little cooler, or southwest, I should say, a little cooler to the northeast. They're going to have a few more clouds to fight through, but 50s and 60s for everybody today. By 7 o'clock, couple little showers to the north, not too much to worry about with those, and then it should be pretty quiet during the overnight. So I showed this a little earlier, just reiterating a light little batch of some showers Tuesday night into Wednesday that could add up to just a little bit as well. Let me show you what that looks like here on models. And you can see by noon, quite a bit of sunshine Tuesday. Clouds will gradually fill in. By the end of the day, we'll fill up the sky with the clouds, and then could have a couple of light showers moving through in the evening. Again, you'll be lucky to get 1/10 of an inch out of these. Probably doesn't amount to even that much for most of us. And by, 4 o'clock in the morning Wednesday, not too much going on. I'll actually start the day with some sunshine. You may see a few more clouds build back in, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of 50s and a lot of 60s this week. Even the morning lows struggle to get below 32. It's amazing how we flip the script on things.
I'm telling you. So I saw that 64 for Friday. Please tell us the beautiful weather is going to extend through the rest of the weekend as well.
Well, not quite that good, but still, you get 50s this weekend. So it's a little surge of some warmth for Friday, but then lower 50s over the weekend.
That's good.
It does stay pretty dry over this. Something to watch middle of next week is that Tuesday, Wednesday system. There's even a small chance of a little bit of moisture on Monday. Models have started to trend a little farther south with that, so not a big headache. But then Tuesday, notice how we're on the warm side of things on Tuesday into Tuesday night. That would be rain, maybe even some thunderstorms. There is enough cold air to bring in some snow on the back side of this, but the bulk of this probably goes to the north. We got to watch this because wherever that snow goes, that could very easily be blizzard criteria with that. So this is a close one to watch middle of next week. Right now, it looks like a bigger problem for the Dakotas up into Minnesota, but we'll track this and show you how it plays out as we get through. And I got 50s and 60s, but I'm looking for the blizzards.
Well, of course you are. I'm like, why don't you talk a blizzard?
Preparing us for the worst, as the ads say.
Isn't this March, though, in a nutshell?
Yeah.
Thunderstorm possibility, some blizzard conditions somewhere.
The good thing about March snows, when they don't stick around long.
That is nice.
Okay.
If it snows, it melts off pretty quick.
All right. Some promising news. All right. We'll get a check-in once again on the roads this morning. How's I-80 looking?
It's looking better. Okay. We're not seeing the delays. So we'll keep an eye on it. Still a little slow on that ramp to go to 144th, but otherwise looking better. A lot of what you need to watch out for is the litany of construction. Let's talk about some water main break impacts on Pacific. Don't let this get out of your mind here. This is going to be a long-term one. And as you're going westbound, right around 84th to 86, you're getting traffic shifted to the center lane. That's in place, no joke, until further notice is the way this was worded. So this could be here quite some time. You can see how that's affecting the travel as you head through this area. This is not too far away from West Side. So watch for that. And then not too far away from that, we've had water main break repairs that have been happening. This is 93rd to 96th. You've got one lane travel each direction. This, with the updated time frame, goes through mid-April. So that's over a month where we have that one in place. So travel on Pacific's not going to be going real well. Maybe use Dodge, maybe use Center for this stretch to kind of try to avoid what's going on there. Today only, you have one lane travel as you go southbound on Saddle Creek. That's right near Emily, and this is for some traffic signal work that's happening around there. Don't be caught off guard by that if you're going to be driving in that area. We've got the whole list of everything that's happening in the metro on our traffic blog on our website. You can always check out for the latest on there. Otherwise, though, look at that. That's a pretty smooth start to the commute so far. Not much in the way of issues, and I'm hoping I didn't just jinx that by saying that.
You may have. Okay. All right, Jared, thanks. The city of Omaha will be hosting a town hall this week to answer the public's questions about the proposed firearms training center in Fort Calhoun. This will be at the Northern Lights venue this Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Fort Calhoun Mayor Mitch Robinson says the site would be on plot of land next to a solar field east of Fort Atkinson. Also this week, we're expecting hundreds of people to line Omaha streets for Thursday's funeral of the Nebraska State Trooper killed in the line of duty.
Well, Trooper Kyle McAcy's family stopped to see all those heartfelt messages left on his cruiser outside the Troop A headquarters in Southwest Omaha. The family said those words have touched them deeply, and they will be forever grateful. First Alert 6 spoke with Kyle's family. His sister told us there is some comfort in sharing her stories and hearing all the other stories and their other people's interactions.
I get to tell them about the kid who made my little station wagon smell like a dumpster when I picked him up from his job, and I could never get the smell of French fry grease out of my car. And I get to tell him about pushing him down the hill in a trash can and picking him up by his swim trunks and throwing him in the pool when he made me mad, and all of the things that siblings do. And I get to hear about what an amazing man he had become And that really, you know, they'll never fill the void that he left, but they're trying, and it is helping.
We're glad to hear that. Trooper McAcy's funeral will be this Thursday at 11 at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena in Ralston. Of course, the public is welcome to attend.
Coming up, collecting some hardware.
Yeah, a look at the big winners of last night's Screen Actors Guild Award. Your First Alert 6 streaming returns. Welcome back, everybody. Several actors took home some hardware at the 31st Annual Screen Actors Guild Awards.
Yeah, some of the big winners were Timothée Chalamet and Demi Moore for their outstanding performance by a male and female actor in a leading role. Zoe Saldana won for outstanding performance by a female actor in a supporting role. And the TV show Shogun won 3 SAG awards, including outstanding performance by a male and female actor in a drama series and best performance by an ensemble in a drama series.
Everybody's saying now that Demi has won these last 2 awards and Zoe that they are shoo-ins for the Oscars.
Yeah, the Oscars are coming up next Sunday, so this was the last big precursor before like the final ceremony.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if they fall in line with the precursors or if they change it up a little bit. So
I know.
A lot of good movies to watch over the next week. Get them all.
Which one do you have to see? Which one do you have to see before the Oscars?
A Complete Unknown. I'd love to see it. If not, I mean, that's on my tops on my list.
Okay. All right. Time's running out. What about you? What are you going to watch?
I haven't seen any of them, so.
Maria's seen probably the most.
I was going to say, Jarrett, you have to see Wicked.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We'll write it down.
All right, thanks for joining us. Go see Wicked if you haven't. We're going to get ready for our update in the Today Show. You can watch it here or over the air.
All right. Have a good Monday morning.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Monday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
I'm Erin Hartley. Let's get an update on traffic this morning with Jarrett.
And we're starting off on Pacific Street, where we're seeing delays. A lot of our worst travel right now is tied to construction zones, and we've got water main break repairs happening just past 84th over to 86th. That's shifting traffic to the center lane. You can see the delays in the lead up to this. Fortunately, this is in place until further notice. You've also got a zone with one lane travel in both directions for your 93rd and 96th on Pacific, so watch for that as another spot where you could run into issues. Dodge a good alternate route for that. Mostly moving along pretty well as we start off our morning, though. Rusty.
Yeah, all that school traffic back on the roads. You got 5 days of school this week, a normal schedule anyway, with no snow days or cold days on the way. We're actually above freezing in every single spot on the map in the metro right now. And coldest spot as you look outside the metro is closer to Columbus at 32. So it's a mild start to the day. We'll climb to 60 by 3 o'clock. I think we can get about 61 or 62 for the high today with partly cloudy skies. It looks like it's going to be a phenomenal day. A little less sunshine than yesterday. A little bit of a northwest breeze, only up to 15 miles per hour. Likely not a big issue with this one. 63 for the high on Tuesday with some showers possible late in the day, then 55 on Wednesday. But the week ahead, 50s and 60s for afternoon highs. Aaron?
An arrest has been made in connection to a shooting near downtown. 32-year-old Detroit Afusia is facing assault and weapons charges. Omaha police were called to 11th and Center for a report of an armed person. The victim's injuries are not considered to be life-threatening.
All right, everybody, it is 7:28. We're back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.